Peace and good evening. I'd like to welcome you guys back into the Foul Playland. As always, I'm your Foul Player. Um, for those of you that didn't join me yesterday, which is not many of you. Oh, actually, hold on. Let me turn off my TV. Sorry, guys. My apologies, guys. But for those of you that caught my video yesterday, salute to you, Tyrone. Um, but I did announce that I was gonna start trying to come on a little bit more regularly. I've been lacking because I suffered a little bit of an accident, and my response time a lot of times a little bit delayed. So I was kind of a little tentative, or like to come on to do these streams for the past couple months. I'm gonna start doing them more now, like since I'm like kind of like hunkered down in the cribs anyway. But I'm just not as witty as I was in the past. My bad for coming on a little bit later than I anticipated. I was actually watching the Redskins game. Um, I want the Redskins to win because the Jets actually own the Seahawks draft pick this year. So, and right now it's like pretty high. It's like top 5. So if the Seahawks keep losing, it's better for us. Plus, I got love for the Redskins. Or the Washington football team. Stupid ass name. I'll never call the Washington football team the Washington football team. Redskins, man. Coño. Son los Redskins. But anyway, I was watching that game and getting some stuff ready, but I want to thank you guys for coming on. I mean, I had more people than I anticipated, like that came on, which is like great because I don't have that many subs, but I lost one sub in the process. And I think I lost the sub because of like the stuff I was talking about yesterday. My candidness as far as my ranker when it relates to Errol Spence. And it's not like that I'm hating on the dude. I was a big Errol Spence fan, like before a lot of you guys even knew who Errol Spence was. I mean, but a lot of like my distaste with Errol Spence, it's kind of like in the last like 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not, and I wish, damn, it looks funny here. I wish Errol Spence the best. I wish Bud the best, and I want them to fight each other. But it's not, I'm like calling out the person that I think, in my mind, is the one like stopping that fight. If you think otherwise, it's up to you. I mean, I'm not picking sides, or I am picking sides based on like what I think is like dodging or duckery. That's on me. Like, I'm the one who dictates what I think is like ducking or dodging. And I think I got a good base to speak from. I mean, I'm a boxing fan for a couple decades already. Whole decades, and then some. You know what I'm saying? I love boxing, but and I boxed. So it's not like I'm speaking from because I think about these dudes all the time. For the most part, I think about these boxers for 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? I don't think about what they do. Like a lot of stuff happens on social media. I don't know what's happening. One, I don't mess with social media, but two, I'm not sweating these dudes like that. A lot of y'all, do sweat these dudes like that. And not but heard about losing a subscriber, but I'm pretty sure that I lost that subscriber because of how I may have been regarding Errol, or speaking on Errol yesterday. But guess what? I'm gonna do more today. But I'm gonna get into something else first. My first topic that I wanted to discuss is actually Teofimo Lopez. And I was candid. I mean, I'm very candid as far as like Teofimo Lopez being from my neighborhood, Sunset Park. Never have I given Teofimo Lopez like a cop out or a like trying to give him coverage. You know what I'm saying? Like as if I thought he was doing something that was like funny, you know, like or ducking. Again, I'm not on social media like that. Like, you know, it's not my business to be on social media. I don't care about these dudes like that. But in spite of the fact that he's from my neighborhood, like, you know, I don't care about them like that. You know, I'm not like, it's not that kind of party with me. Hey, peace, Tyrone. What's going on with you, man? I'm gonna throw the link up soon too. But so it's I've been very candid about the fact that he's from my neighborhood. I mean, like, it's not that I was trying to hide it. I mean, I'm actually proud that he's from my neighborhood. But I'm not sweating the dude like that. Like, it ain't that kind of ordeal with me. Like, if something happens behind the scenes, and that's why I had Tyrone on the show yesterday too, and I asked him, like, is there anything like that happened? Like, because I know a lot of dudes like didn't like him of late or constantly make videos about Teofimo Lopez. So I'm thinking that maybe he did something like ducky, like online, like, who knows? Um, he did tell me that he said some like funny things about Deontay Wilder. Um, and also he has a little bit of an anonymity with Devin Haney, whatever. Um, I know like that he did that thing where he jumped into the ring with or whatever, like with Canelo with all the belts. And like I know like everybody was shitting on him for that. I get it. But as far like the only thing I know about Teofimo Lopez, like when he fights, like I do with most of these cats. Like I mean, like I'm not saying that I don't know anything that's happening like outside of like when they fight, but I'm not checking for it like that. So I mean, if I catch it, I catch it, but I usually don't. So for the most part, like I know about these cats when they go into the ring. In spite of the fact that he's from my neighborhood, I know a little bit, maybe more than like some random dude. Like let's say like Stephen Fulton. Like like I know way more about like Teofimo like movement than like a Stephen Fulton, but I don't know much. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, but based on like who he's fought or what he's done in the ring, I mean I think it's commendable. And I'm going down the list. I mean, I'm going to use my computer again, but Teofimo Lopez at this current juncture, I mean, I think is 24 years old. But naming off the names that I know, like on his resume, um, Diego Magdaleno. I don't know who this Edis Tati guy is, but he fought that Japanese guy, Nakatani. Fought Richard Comey. He fought Lomachenko, and then ultimately he just fought Kambosos and lost. But just those names, I mean, like Lomachenko at that, like, and if you guys are commenting anything, I can't see it because I'm reading off the list. But at that time when he fought Lomachenko, and for a long time before he fought Lomachenko was widely considered like pound for pound, like the next Ali. I didn't believe that shit. Like, well, I wasn't saying it, but a lot of other people were saying it. A lot of other people were throwing that up. I think it was ridiculous to compare like Lomachenko to Ali, or I thought it was ridiculous to say that Lomachenko was not ridiculous, but I thought it was not true when people were saying that Lomachenko was the best boxer pound for pound. I thought that Bud always had that ahead of Lomachenko. But and I thought that Mikey Garcia could have beat Lomachenko had they fought at 130. But that's another story, or 135. Another story though entirely. But then you had Richard Comey. Like Richard Comey was, not a guy like that everybody's racing towards. I mean, he beats Comey in the second round. I mean, much props. Now the Nakatani guy when he fought him, I remember like Nakatani was sort of an unknown. I mean, I think I peeped his fights beforehand. I can't remember that far. But Nakatani since then, I mean, he's given people the business. I mean, like since he fought him. Magdaleno, I mean, he's a name, like whatever, like, but this is a guy that's 24 years old. Now, I'm not saying that that's like a world class feat that he did, or like that's something to be remembered like through the laurels of time. No, like, but it's pretty good for this era, for that age, for everybody like in and around that weight. I mean, I think it's commendable. Tyrone Smith commented. Tatley was a European champ. Comey, IBF champ. Lomachenko for 17 fights. He has a good resume. No, he does. And I'm glad you agree with me in that sense. I mean, like, at the end of the day, like me taking a step back, and plus the fact that my mental faculties aren't all there like of late. But based on like who he's fought way better people than Devin Haney. I mean, like, dare I say he's probably fought better people than Tank. You know, but and for such a young cat, I mean, like, I'm not on the bandwagon like that or like rooting for him, even in spite of the fact that he's from my neighborhood. But actually, you know what? Fuck it, I am. Like, he is like, the guy is from my neighborhood, and like, you guys like get to have your favorites and like, play defense for like Errol Spence, like, for God knows what reason, like because people you like on YouTube like Errol Spence. I mean, like, so now naturally you're fully committed to Errol Spence and like what he has in his pockets. And so, I mean, like, I'm not like on the Teofimo dick ride team neither, but he is from my neighborhood. So, and based on his resume, like, I think like what he's done thus far was pretty good. Let me see, or has been pretty good. Damn, YouTube deleting comments. I was like, not much. Just was talking to some garden tool on Snapchat. My bad, bro. Like, let me know. I don't know if it's something I did. Yeah, but so and I was making a comparison. I mean, it's not a comparison of resumes like from the time that they were that young, but as far as like his presence in today's boxing landscape, like for Teofimo Lopez, like plays the role of Hector Macho Camacho, like in today's boxing landscape, like the guy that like from New York. I mean, he's not Puerto Rican, but he has that flow about him. Like, he is from Brooklyn, same neighborhood as me. Like, he talks like everybody from Sunset Park. But so he's kind of, and like, when you saw that crowd in the theater in MSG like this past Saturday, a lot of them you could tell like for the most part are like, New York Latin cats, you know what I'm saying? Or there were a lot of black cats in the crowd too. But where like the Puerto Rican cats flow in New York, for the most part, I mean, like black cats flow in the same circles. But I forgot what point I was trying to make. But I think, oh yeah, as far as comparing him to Macho Camacho, like he had that like same like fan base, like where you could tell is like a Latin New Yorker, like I'll say. And a lot of people hated on him too. Like, and a lot of people hate on Teofimo. Like, a lot of people think he talks too much shit. Like, I mean, maybe he does. Like, but I think that's good. I like when boxers do that. I don't like what, like, like hearing Tank Davis talk is like watching paint dry. Like, he got to buy little trinkets and shit, like little jewelry to give him something like that'll keep him burning, like his name burning on social media. But he's not like a good like conversationalist or and the thing is too, like when a fighter puts out like tweets, or that's whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's a word that you're putting out over the internet. Like, I like fighters that can carry a conversation, that could talk shit in person. He does that a lot, seemingly. And the thing is too, why I don't like social media. I don't mind social media in that sense. Like, if you're calling out people in like interviews, in addition to social media, I don't like the little corny stuff like Errol Spence does. Like, he'll put a smiley face or an emoji like after Bud won this last fight. Like, that's corny. So like people gotta like come on YouTube and say, oh, you should have seen it. He put that emoji. Like, oh God, oh, yo, he put the crying emoji. Oh my Lord. What a deep thinker. Like, that's corny to me, especially when you don't do that stuff in real life. And then a lot of these dudes be doing that stuff on social media, like going back and forth, dissing each other. And then they see each other in person, and then it's like smiles, like when they're face to face, and then somebody gets in between them, and supposedly they start arguing. Like, it's corny, bro. Like, I don't like stuff like that. I rather like Teofimo Lopez in the sense that like he rivets the shit up, like he stirs the pot, like you know I rather have that kind of guy. Does Errol Spence stir the pot? Like what part of Errol Spence character like do you relate to, or that do you commend, or do you find commendable? You know what I'm saying? Or that he oh yeah, he's a cool calm, like man, get out of here, bro. Like that's not entertaining. Like I understand if you're watching a show and like you think Ned Stark is like the cool and calm type, but what do these dudes do to entertain you but fight? Send out tweets? I don't care like that he's cool, calm, and collected. I want to see him knock heads off. You know what I'm saying? Like, but Teofimo Lopez, I am gonna, not that I'm doing anything riveting, but I am gonna like have my start rooting for him more, just based on the fact that we're from a neighborhood that's not known like that outside of a movie. So not that I gotta school y'all to it, but like again, a lot of you guys like have a favorite, like little favorites, like, and y'all be going over the top and like unsubscribing or like getting butt hurt in comments. I mean, like I'm not doing all that, like even though he's from my neighborhood, but yeah, I'm gonna root for him a lot more from here on out. And I do think that he's a presence out. But let me put the link out there too, because I wanted Tyrone to jump on. Pause. But let me know if you guys have any other subjects that you want to get off your mind too. Like, even though I'm talking about whatever, we could talk about whatever. Like, well, if I'm talking about something else, I mean, the conversation is riveting. Yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about that. Like, I'm not gonna switch it up to talk about some random shit. But if there's anything else you guys got in your mind too, feel free to put it up in the chat. And if it's interesting, yeah, we could chop it up. I hope you guys going out and about into the world, like working and stuff like that is like real stressful right now, like with your kids, having to wear the mask and whatnot. I know it's stressful on everybody, like, and I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I did. And didn't argue and stupid shit like that. But I do want to get to my next subject. And let me know if you guys feel the same way about or don't agree with me. I know a lot of you probably won't agree with me as far as my tirade about Teofimo. But again, it's, and like keeping like, race and all this corny shit out of it. Like a lot of people revert to stupid shit off the rip. No, like, it's not like, and even if you do like somebody based on that, like it is like, that's on you, bro. Like, the hell you're gonna tell like somebody not to like a fighter for whatever, or it's just stupid shit. And no, it's not stupid shit like if you like a fighter because of that, like it's stupid shit to bring it up in an argument, just off, GP, like, oh well, these Puerto Rican cats are all, yeah, I don't like mess with any, stupid shit. Like that's not how I get down. That's not how most people get down, to be honest. Like, but I do want to ask you guys to welcome my next guest. He's my one of my longtime partners in YouTube boxing. But give it up to my man Chocolate Ty. Like, and if you could, Tyrone, let the people know where we could find you.
You can find me on YouTube here, TS Boxing. Yeah, but check this out. Check this. Look at my shit.
Oh, nice, bro. It's coming beautifully, my friend.
All this here.
Don't you dare cut it, bro.
And they're not extensions like some of our favorite fighters wear.
You don't got the blonde joints in the back?
No, I don't.
the half and half. Where do people put extensions on? You got to go to a girl's place to put extensions on?
Some people do that. I'll tell you behind the scenes how they do it.
Yeah, no, that is girly though. Like the whole like blonde, the blonde joints. But nah. But what do you feel as far as a Teofimo like, and like the what he contributes to the landscape based on what everybody else is contributing to, or
All
factoring what everybody else is contributing.
right. I think he has a good resume for 17-0. Um, I mean, he'll be back from this. It was a close fight. I mean, I would personally want to go for a rematch, but that's what they don't want to do. Then
No, no, not even besides like just last week. As far as like resume, like what he's accomplished. All right, I'll put it like this: in and around his weight, like who you think, like maybe like one, like not counting the 140 cats, but do you like who do you think has comparable or more in that span of time? You know, like young cat that has
young, you mean
similar
young?
resume. Pardon me?
You mean comparing them to like Devin Haney or Ryan
Yeah,
Garcia or Tank? He's done more.
you think Tank too?
Comparing them, comparing him to Tank.
Resume wise.
I mean, he has Lomachenko and Comey. I mean, that's better than any. That's better than Pedraza or Leo Santa Cruz. No, I mean Leo Santa Cruz is probably better than Comey, but nothing beats
Yeah,
having Lomachenko. Nothing beats Lomachenko.
yeah, and honestly, I asked that too. I mean, like, and I asked you yesterday as far as like because again, I'm not in the know like that, and I don't sweat these dudes like that. Like I was asking like as far as pardon me.
I think Tank beats him though. I think Tank
I think
beats.
Tank beats him too. Absolutely.
He
I
beats
think
Devin Haney and he beats
absolutely.
Ryan Garcia. I think the person who give him his toughest fight is Lomachenko. I think that's a toss-up fight.
I think he beats Lomachenko too. The I think I'm not gonna front, bro. Like I don't like the way Tank moves, but pound for pound, Tank is probably the illest boxer, bro. Like
Yeah, he's the most talented.
yeah, like it's almost not close.
Yeah, son, he's not a Mayweather imitator either. You don't see him shoulder rolling and shit like that. I mean, he gets by a lot on his athleticism. He has a decent IQ as well. Like it's a lot of subtle things that he does.
Yeah,
It's not
no,
like
he has and the power too. Tank has legit power.
yeah, the power and the like I'm not big on Haney. We were talking about this last night. Me and you both aren't big on Haney. I just see people who are, and I don't get it. Never been impressed by Haney. I don't think he's that good. I think the moment he fights somebody who gets in with him on the inside, he'll lose. I don't see it with Haney, dude. I said like about 2 years ago. Now everybody's getting on Gary Russell's brother, but I said Gary Russell's brother was good a while back. Remember when they weren't talking about? I said Antoine Russell will beat Devin Haney like yesterday, and people were like, "Whoa, whoa." And what do they say now? Yeah, he will because he's better than him. I mean, we've got to just because you fight like Mayweather doesn't mean you're good. I mean, how did that work out for Caleb Plant?
Yeah, and that's sort of a good comparison too. As far like Caleb's Plant, Caleb Plant's performances on the back end, as far as the diminishing Caleb Plant, like because he's been diminishing his past 4 or 5 fights, are like comparable to Devin Haney's skill set presently. I mean, maybe Devin Haney puts more on his punches moving forward, or maybe he improves. He is mad young, but I mean, I think he's okay, but I
I think
don't
he's
think he's
manufactured.
huh.
He doesn't have his own style. I think he's manufactured. He's trying to fight like somebody who's not, and it's just gonna blow back.
And as far as like, let's say Devin Haney, if anybody has any ill will towards Teofimo, like because he's not making a Devin Haney fight yesterday or before he lost, you know, I think that's hypocritical because Teofimo Lopez could use the same excuse that Errol Spence has used for many years, which is that Devin Haney is on the wrong side of the street or was on the wrong side of the street. I hate that excuse, and I hate even muttering those words. I think that's a lame excuse. I think that it shouldn't be used at all, ever. But could Teofimo have used that towards Devin Haney and say like, oh, well, you were fighting on an app all these past years? If you have any ill will towards Teofimo because you're a Devin Haney diehard, like, I think that it's very hypocritical if you don't feel that same way about Errol Spence, which I know a lot of you don't feel that way about Errol Spence because it's convenient. But I don't get like a lot of the distaste or the hate for Teofimo. Again, I'm not capping for him because he's from my neighborhood. Beautiful Sunset Park. Look, I even have the Sunset Park signs like on the. I don't know if you can see it. Oh.
Yeah, I see it.
Blue. Like it's not because we're from the same little hood, no. Like and it's not zero about me or I'm trying to like ride the coattails like based on like the whole neighborhood love thing there. Like I think in today's landscape and with all these people, and I got another question, but like for you, but in today's landscape, I think he's accomplished a heck of a lot in his age, and I think, like I said yesterday, and like you just said, I think he is gonna come back, and I think maybe he's not gonna be top doggy, but I mean he got like a nice resume, like, and he's always gonna be a nice name to get into the ring with for these dudes. But I also wanted to ask you too, if you wanted to comment, you go ahead. But also, before you comment, when they say the four kings, who the hell are they talking about?
They've made it up in their mind that it's Ryan Garcia who's trash.
What?
Devin, who's not very good. Lopez and Tank.
That's like a whack ass. Like what? How is it even four people on that whack ass list?
They're supposed to. It was supposed to be like they're comparing it to what was it? Leonard, Hearns, Duran, and who's that fourth guy? Hagler, was it? But were they even at 160? Well, did they all move up in 160? I don't even remember. I think they. But I think it's that whole thing. No, nobody's really impressed by it.
How do you even have Ryan Garcia on a list? Like, but like I'm the only argument that would come from these today's boxing fan morons are well, he brings business. He's a big name, like Ryan Garcia is a bum, and like almost everybody on that list is a bum.
He's an ethot.
Mm-hmm.
He just sells how he looks like digitally. I mean, let's be honest here. If I cut my hair a little bit and shave and clean up, it'd be easy for me to take filtered pictures and look good and have like 14-year-old girls want me.
Yeah.
On some weird shit.
Nah, a lot of these dudes be on some weird shit, bro. These like a lot of fans be on weird stuff, like too, and like as to why, like how they become such diehards, like it's not just Ryan Garcia, it's all these guys, like but yeah, that four kings, like I knew it was ridiculous when I heard it because I'm like, there's not even four kings in the entirety of boxing. Like,
yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of. We don't want to get into the king stuff, but I'm not even a king. No, I can't even.
Tonight's the night, bro. Tonight's the night.
My bowels sometimes.
Tonight's the night that you feature the that incredible phrase, but but that like I said, bro, like that, like a lot of people are trying to big these dudes up, like when they've accomplished like zero, and that's what's messing up this sport, bro. We got to put pressure on these fighters every step of the way, man. Like, and these young cats, I mean, like, when the little that I have seen on social media or like the shit that gets reported on YouTube, like about these confrontations that happen, like with these young cats, they're one step away. I mean, like from like that whole A side, B side shit, like, if they don't do it already, I mean, they do a lot of inferences that sound a lot like business talk or overly business talk. I know Devin Haney's like mentioned the fact that he makes a lot of bread. But these, like, it sucks that they get like right into that like side of the sport that I hate, business, early on, like, and without accomplishing a fucking thing. Like, I don't even think these dudes should be getting coverage like that, bro. I don't think Devin Haney should get coverage like that. I don't think Tank Davis should be getting coverage like that. I don't think Ryan Garcia. I mean, like, Ryan Garcia did it synthetically. I mean, like, but I think us boxing fans giving these other cats like Devin Haney, like, and Tank Davis to a large degree too, love for doing nothing. Like, these cats ain't doing it. I mean, like, are they trying to do something? Yeah, but I mean, like, if we want to use the whole, like, it's not like possible to fight inter-promotionally, like, then Devin Haney's prospects looks like he's not gonna be able to fight people, like, because of his promoting situation. I don't think that's gonna be the case, but you guys throw that excuse up like fucking as if it's like pissing, like, you guys do it constantly. But you got anything to to add, Big Ty?
I mean, I hear they're looking to. What are you sipping on?
Lagunitas Maximus.
Well, I heard his dad. They're looking to get Lopez in at 140 with somebody like Arnold Barboza or Zepeda if they can, which I think is solid fights for your debut at 140 if they're going that route.
How do you think he'll do at 140?
On the top rank side or as a whole?
As a whole, like, how do you think he'll perform at 140?
He doesn't beat Gary Russell's brother at all. He doesn't beat. He beats Easter. He could beat that Subriel Matias guy. It'd be a good fight with Prograis.
He'll. I don't think he could beat Prograis.
I don't think Prograis is as good as he's made out to be. I think there's something there. Somebody has to take advantage of it. It's just me. I don't know what it is.
Prograis is very hittable though. But I think that you'll see similar to what you saw this past, whenever they fought past week, like that version of Teofimo. As far as like his fights having his punches having that much effect, like, you saw like a little bit of a tampered down Teofimo.
Yeah, it didn't look very good.
Yeah, but I think that's what you could likely get at 140 too. Like,
Josh Taylor is in a similar situation because I don't think. I mean, Josh Taylor can't beat Spence or Crawford at all if he moves up. No, he can't beat. I mean, if Keith Thurman was anywhere close to what he used to be, he couldn't beat Keith Thurman.
He probably might not beat Porter either.
He wouldn't. He would lose to Porter for sure.
Yeah,
because you can't out tough because Josh Taylor's game is to get in there and start out toughing guys. That's not going to work with guys who are bigger, stronger than you.
Yeah, and if he beats Porter, it's only because Errol Spence wore him out.
Yeah, Errol Spence wore Porter out.
Yeah, so
No,
Errol
but
Spence took the life out of Porter.
I had Porter up in that. I picked Crawford by KO. I had Porter up by 1 in that fight.
Yeah, I think I had him up. I had Crawford up at that point by 1 or 2. Like, but I know like the last
by 1, but not by 2.
I don't know. I didn't write this though, but
it was a close fight. He does it to everybody.
That's what I had. My bad, bro. My bad to cut you off, but I think I had Porter up in the 7th round. But I know like the fight ended in the 10th round, but I think the last 2 rounds I gave to Bud. But they were saying somebody said that they gave both those rounds to Porter, but they were being sensational. But like some people were saying that Porter was down. I mean, that Bud was down by like 4 rounds. I was like, bro,
no.
And the thing is too that a lot of the rounds that I gave Bud or that I gave Porter, you could swing it either direction. I mean, it wasn't like they were winning in either direction in resounding fashion, like where you were like, yo, that's definitely a Bud or Porter round. Maybe there were like 2 of those for either guy.
I
But
mean, and
the last two though, before the knockdown, before the fight ended, and not including the one with the knockdown, I gave those both those rounds to Bud, not by a lot though. But in
yeah,
the seventh round, I had Porter ahead. But if you or anybody listening to this had it scored differently, I mean, I'm not shitting on it, like, because again, I didn't think that anybody was in a resounding lead, but I did see him pulling away with those last two rounds, and and then Bud ended up consummating that TKO in the 10th. But a lot of the stupid shit that I've heard after that, I mean, like, I don't know if it's because like my faculties aren't all there, but like, I was so disenfranchised or so disappointed with like what I was hearing after this Bud Porter fight. Like, it just gave, like, I mean, it was kind of like one of the reasons why I wanted to start making videos again, to be frank. But it was terrible. And it was like so many like guys, like so many channels I like, you know, it went right back into the 60-40 thing, and they barely, like, nobody talked about the fact that Errol dipped off. I mean, like, and a lot of the people that did were like, oh, they're channels that hate on Errol already, like, so you could dismiss it, I guess. But I was extremely disappointed that a lot of people, weren't giving it favorable coverage, but like they were not bringing it up. The fact that he dipped off, and then they started going into the same 60-40 shit. I don't know if Errol actually said that, like but I heard one channel covering the fact that Errol said that Bud got to take what I give him, something to that effect. Like recently, I don't know if he said that in an interview or if he said that like on social media, but and it wasn't like, oh well, like, I think that's bullshit. Like a lot of the channels are saying, "Oh, Bud gotta understand, like, it's all a business." Like, I'm like, bro, this is like so cringeworthy. Like, and it would, like, honestly, it was more disappointed, bro, because like, with YouTube boxing, bro, like, I like I don't gotta look no further than my own panelists. Like, I fucks with like Tyrone. Like I talked, me and you talk off this YouTube shit, right, Ty?
uh-huh.
And we'll talk for like hours, and a lot of times not even boxing shit. But I met like Ty pretty much through YouTube, but content creators, I mean, like, a lot of these cats that I listen to, I mean, like, I'm going on 10 years, like, sometimes listening to, and it's not like y'all my heroes and shit. Like, I think y'all regular dudes, like, I'm a regular dude. But when you start switching it up, like, it feels like, somebody I essentially have grown up with, in a sense, like, because 10 years is 10 years, or almost 10 years, whatever, is a long time. It's disappointing, and like, I was right alongside a lot of you guys, like, when it was Deontay Wilder getting that same treatment from AJ and AJ's fans. Like, oh well, like, uh like, Wilder gotta be happy with whatever he gets. And I remember Wilder um initially said that he would take 60-40. Like, he threw it up, and then like Eddie Hearn was lambasting it, and like, and then Wilder's stance changed to 50-50, and I was riding with you the whole way too. We were we were on the same side of that argument together. All these channels that are disappointing me now when it comes to this Errol Spence butt shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not that I'm like trying to come up in the game off of other channels, or like trying to contend with other channels, bro. Like, any channel that like um I'm disappointed in is because I got love for him. Like, I'm not gonna get butthurt if I Am Ill Will or King Louis or some other scrub like that makes videos and not being candid or honest with their assessment. I give two shits. Like, but like with channels that I do love, which are a lot of you are on the wrong side of this argument. Like, a lot of you guys are gonna not put pressure on Errol Spence to make this fight with Bud Crawford. And that's right. That's a foray right into like what I wanted to talk next, even though I covered the major tenets of it. But if you give me a second to let some steam off, Ty, and I don't want you jumping in right when I said something negative about somebody else. because this is not Tyrone's opinion and
What you,
mine.
I just came back.
Oh, my bad.
Lots-
No, but a lot of these opinions are mine. So if you feel a certain way about me, it has zero to do with anybody I mess with on my panel or on YouTube altogether. You know, I got a lot of channels that like have disappointed me. Like, you know, it's not like I stopped listening to you, or like I don't go into your comments and say what up. It's all love, and you guys show me love, and I show you love. You know, like whenever I go to a lot of these channels, like, you know, a lot of people are crazy cool with me, and that, you know, and I think it's going to stay that way regardless of how I feel or whether I feel that you're on the wrong side of this argument. But I think we should all join up as boxing fans to push this fight. And I think that, you know, it's very, what do you call it? It's, not crazy for Bud, you guys knowing Bud and how he is, and he's cagey and he's not like a, a vocal character, and he's a little bit of a ball buster, but you could tell that he's not like a chump, or he's gonna get like let himself be walked over in a negotiation or in the ring, whatever have you. When you tell like Errol Spence, if the comment is true, because I did see a video saying that Errol Spence said, "But take Bud got to take whatever I give him." But if you're like in some sort of rivalry, like with a cat like that, and they're telling you, "Oh, well, you take what I give you," like if you were riding with Deontay Wilder, like when he said it was 50-50 because you thought that he was being disrespected by Hearn and by AJ's fans, you know, and I agreed with that when Wilder said it was going to be 50-50, like, you know, even though ultimately we didn't get the fight, but, you know, I was with you lockstep with that argument with a lot of these cats. And it's not because I think I'm wrong now, because I agreed with that. I think that they were trying to shit on Wilder. And like once he like said 50-50, like, you know, that's his prerogative. And like, you know, Wilder did bring something to the table in the AJ negotiation. In that, Wilder did offer AJ the US market, like a foray into the US market. But Errol Spence doesn't offer Bud Crawford a foray into the US market. Errol Spence is selling 350 pay-per-views like against Mikey Garcia, or whatever he sold. He's selling around like low 300s against Porter. Sold less than that against Danny Garcia. You know, you're talking about somebody who's doing diminishing numbers. If you guys want to talk business, so he's whatever Bud's numbers are, Errol Spence's numbers will be in that same level, like in and around like what Bud's doing. You know, if you're going on like these last three fights results, which are diminishing, and you know, is him fighting Ugas going to change that? Like, you know, do you even know what Ugas looks like without like googling him?
He's
Like
bald.
Ugas, huh?
He's bald.
Yeah, he bald and he speaks Spanish. But like, you know, is that going to be the fight that sets him over the top and sells 400,000 pay-per-views for Errol Spence, in spite of the fact that it's for belts? I doubt it. I doubt it. But Bud and Errol Spence together um is gonna sell, I think, between 600,000 pay-per-views and maybe 900,000, maybe a million. Who knows? It's an international fight. Ugas versus Errol Spence ain't no international fight. That's 300,000 pay-per-views, straight up. Porter versus Errol Spence was for belts, and that was around 300,000 pay-per-views. There's no way that Ugas versus Errol Spence is gonna sell more than that. Period. But Errol Spence versus Bud Crawford is gonna do double that on the low end. It's gonna do maybe a million on the high end. But is that because Errol Spence? No. Is that because of Bud Crawford? No. It's because both of them fighting together. Period. So don't give me that business shit. Like, I don't want to hear no business shit. That's what it is. And Errol Spence is being a hoe. Like, in the sense that he's saying, like, oh well, you got to take what I give him. Or in the sense of saying, like, when he sees Bud Crawford in the crowd of his fight, saying, "Oh, what's he doing here?" Or in the sense of not mentioning one thing about Bud Crawford and him fighting Bud Crawford at any point since Bud Crawford beat Sean Porter. He's had two bullshit semblances of an interview when he was leaving the place that night and this past weekend? Did he mention anything about fighting Bud Crawford? No. Zero. Oh, get your money. Like, no, like, let's make this money together. No, he ain't mentioned any of that. Any fight that Bud Crawford fights or Errol Spence fights next isn't going to do shit. Zero. Without them fighting each other. Like, I don't want to see any other fight. Now, you as a fan and me as a fan, like, we're just regular cats, bro. Like, we can't be waiting on these cats to be fighting like down the line because of business. Oh, well, Bud gotta understand that it's a business. Like, what do you understand about business? You probably help somebody detail cars, or you sleep on a bunk bed. Like, stop with the business shit. We're just regular cats, bro. Like, we should care about these fighters for 12 rounds at a time. And that's it. Stop getting like a butt hurt because you happen to like somebody else or a channel that you like is infatuated with a certain fighter, like, and you gotta like ride or die and like talk about business. Like, come on, bro. Like, like what business are you operating? Or when did you start a business? That's not some like fucking eBay or like independent contractor. Like, shut up with the business shit. But let me know what you think, Ty, if you have anything that you want to add.
I mean, I think Eddie Hearn likes working his muscle. Honestly, I didn't think that fight was going to happen. But as far as Spence Crawford, that's going to happen at the end of the next year. I'm pretty confident that happens because there's nowhere to go. There's no opponents are out. They're out of opponents. You're on mute.
My bad. But like, I did hear when this fight came into the mental of the boxing fans, as far as the possibility of Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fighting, which a lot of people were talking about before Bud Crawford entered 147. It was almost like there was nowhere for them to run in 2019. So it was like, oh, we're gonna get this fight in 2020. We're about to enter 2022 now, and there's
you still had Danny Garcia, Porter, and Thurman lingering around, right? Porter retired. Danny Garcia is moving up to 54, and Thurman hasn't fought in 2 years. There's one guy in between there is Ugas, and they'll probably give that to Spence for a tune-up. Crawford will have an interim fight, and then it'll happen at the end of next year. That's what I think.
I just think that like we're going about it the wrong way. I mean, even if it was like laid out in that sense, where I heard something from Spence particularly saying, like, well, it's gonna happen like after I clean up, my business with Ugas. I could even accept that. I don't like, think that they should even bother with Ugas because like who cares? But I could take it because Errol Spence was out and like, it's a chance to get another belt. I get it. But if you laid it out like that, then I could understand that. Like, all right, like we're gonna get that fight in late 2022. I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but a lot of these dudes are already throwing up the barricades, like on YouTube, and there's no reason for that. It's like what do you think you're gonna be in Errol Spence's entourage at some point? You know what I'm saying? And the thing is too that this argument, it's not a two-sided argument. It's not an argument where I'm saying like, or people saying that that Bud Crawford should get more money, or like people are saying Bud Crawford should get 50-50, or that they understand that Bud Crawford stamped that he should get 50-50, or they understand the fact like me that Bud Crawford isn't gonna say like, except like a fighter that acts bitchy like that and says, "Oh, you take what I give you," or like, when I do the easy work first, like then we'll fight, like and I'll have a leg up on you in negotiations. I mean, like, that's corny. Like, I mean, like I think that it's a waste of time. One, because I don't care about the Ugas fight. I don't like but if the plan was a definitive, like, fight Ugas and then fight Bud, and we're not gonna get this corny negotiation shit, like killing it, then I would accept that. But I just don't see it right now. And I think that too many times or for too many years, a lot of these Errol Spence fans have given him an easy out. And like, when it was Bud Crawford was at 140, or he got and then he got a belt, oh well, he got to fight somebody at 147. My man, he got a fucking belt at 147. From the second he went into 147, regardless of who he won it against, he had the belt off the rip. And fighting Danny Garcia, that's like there was no reason to fight Danny Garcia. Like a lot of these same dudes be shitting on Danny Garcia. Now all of a sudden, like Errol Spence had to fight him for no belt, for zero. And the fact that like that fight was already made right after he beat Porter, like for what? Like why? And I got mad love for Danny Garcia. I always say he looks like my son, and his dad reminds me of my dad. But I'm not trying to waste my time seeing Danny Garcia fight or hold up a Bud Crawford fight or the conversation for a Bud Crawford fight. They should have fought when they each had a belt, one belt. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole cleaning up this side of the street. I mean, I understand there was some dudes, or like if it was Keith Thurman that was holding one of those belts and you're trying to fight him, and it's a certainty that one of you guys is going to fight him. I understand, because Keith Thurman is probably a bigger name than Bud Crawford or Errol Spence when he was at his prominence. But besides that, Danny Garcia, Porter, hells no, bro. Even Porter with the belt, I thought it was a fight that I thought was delaying Bud Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, I see where it come from, that the fight should have happened, but I guess now.
Hold me down.
No, I'm pretty sure it'll come down the pipeline. There's nowhere else for either of them to go, really.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna kill this one first. Yeah, but honestly, it's I'm not that I'm gonna make or break anything, but a lot of what I want to talk about is my frustration with this situation. And I'm honestly I like when I talk with you off of YouTube, I don't talk about boxing all the time, and I want to talk about other shit on my channel for sure, more than I want to talk boxing, but when I do talk about boxing, it's gonna be me on tirades or me bitching about the fact that I'm not getting what I want. But I think more people should join the groundswell. Get on this side of the argument. I'm sick of the business shit, man. I saw a lot of the comments, and I entertain myself doing a lot of times with that stuff too. But if I leave comments about Errol Spence, there'll be 100 people talking about the whole business shit. Like, I don't understand business. Or that's real female shit to not understand business. Like, bro, and I know a lot of these dudes are busters in real life, bro. Or herbs, or rent the room or some shit. And they're talking about business and shit, or this, or saying the female shit, and it's corny too, because based on if it was some shit where it's definitely gonna be some shit where they fight down the line, then I don't think there would be that animosity. But I think a lot of Errol fans are getting very bitchy online lately, because they know their guy doesn't want to fight Bud Crawford, or has been evading Crawford, and there's really no denying it now. But it's corny because a lot of Bud Crawford's fans, that faction for the most part are black cats. A lot of Errol Spence fans for the most part are black cats, and there's some people that like both of them. I mean, or that liked both of them. I'm starting to not like Errol Spence because of the shit I think that he's doing to avoid the fight. But then you have these factions dissing each other. And I know there's a lot of Errol Spence fans when I get online or on somebody else's comments. And not that this is God, I can't live the rest of this day because these Errol Spence fans are violating me on YouTube. No. I mean, but it's very corny. I mean, like, when I comment shit, like saying pretty much what I'm saying on this video, um, a lot of these cats that are Errol Spence fans, like they'll go into that whole shit. Oh well, like a lot of these guys that like Bud Crawford, you could tell they're beta males or they're females because they don't know business, or business, and it's like a faction of black fans that are dissing another faction of black fans, and both fighters are black. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that whole shit, like, and before when Bud Crawford was still with Bob, people used to say a lot of corny shit like that was like basically saying like or inferring that Bud Crawford's like slaving for Bob or some shit. Like, yo, come on, man. Like y'all like are real low with this shit. Like a lot of times in y'all insult. And a lot of times y'all doing that because y'all defending a guy who doesn't seem like he wants to fight Bud Crawford and Errol Spence. A guy who takes off immediately after Bud Crawford's last fight. And if you guys want to make excuses about like just the like, and I was thinking about this earlier, but if people want to make excuses about like why Errol Spence left dolting off like that after the fight with Sean Porter and Bud Crawford, name one time that's ever happened with some other fighter, with some other interested party or another fighter that people wanted them to fight each other, or like another fighter that was in and around the weight of somebody he could be competing with while he was ringside. Name one instance in history, because I don't remember any, where a fighter did that. Because Errol Spence, when Bud Crawford beat Sean Porter, he should have been delighted, because that's the fight that everybody's talking about. Everybody wants Errol Spence and Bud Crawford to fight ultimately, and he takes off like a little broad once Bud Crawford beats Sean Porter. Like who does that? Like who does that? Like what part of that makes you think like, all right, Errol Spence really wants to fight him? There's no inexcusable. Like, should he have climbed in the ring? I mean, I would have liked that. Like, does he have to beg to get in the ring? No. I mean, like, if Bud Crawford would have said, "Oh, you can't get into the ring," I would have thought it was a bitch move on Crawford. You know what I'm saying? But that didn't happen. And Bud Crawford actually talked a little bit of shit about him, like and saying that he got to get his tail from out his butt, like, which I ain't get. But that's from somebody who really doesn't like get involved in like talking shit to potential opponents in Bud Crawford, or doesn't do a lot of interviews. And in today's boxing, like where like fighters never call out another fighter and say, well, I'm gonna get together with my promoters. Like, it's very rare that a fighter calls out another fighter nowadays in the ring, or mentions another fighter that he's a potential rival to. Bud Crawford did mention Errol Spence though, and he did tell him to get his tail out of his butt, whatever the hell that meant. Again, and what was Errol Spence doing? Going to the parking lot like a chump. Inexcusable. You got anything to add to that, Big Ty?
Fact that he just walked up and left. I mean, I don't look deep into that. I think he saw a bullshit stoppage. He felt the fight was close and he left. But I think, like I said, they're gonna have to fight by the end of next year anyway. I mean,
let me ask you a question then. When in history, like I mean, like you're younger than me by a good measure, but when have you ever seen a fighter do dolting off like that?
Not that I remember. Nothing high profile.
No, ever low profile, UFC, anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm pretty sure you've never seen it.
No, not. It may have happened, but not that I remember.
If it happened, bro, it was some low level dudes. You know what I'm saying? But like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like
they had the cameras on Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Because Errol Spence, I'll agree with you on that. Like with all these other cats, in that sense, that Errol Spence is a big deal, and the cameras were honed in on him, and he dips off. Like it was very hoey. I mean, like the more I think about it, I'm like, and I like, and it was very surprising that a lot of people didn't give him bad press like for that. That's just me though.
I mean,
Like and if so for instance, like if he would have done that and then like come Tuesday, like or today's Monday, or a couple days afterwards, he said, "Yo, yeah, whatever." Like, um, that was a good fight, but I went in on that action next. I wouldn't even be talking about him dipping off from the stadium. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he ain't say shit about that. Like since then, like that interview that he did last, like somebody asked him like, what he feels about Bud like not being involved with Bob Arum any longer. And he's like, "Oh, get your money, baby." Like, all right, but where do you fit into this? Because according to Errol Spence, out of his own mouth, he's like, "Oh, blame Bob," and like, Bob's like a reason as to why this fight's not being made. Now he's not with Bob. Like, what do you got to say about that? Since you dipped off from the stadium, too. Oh, get your money, baby. Like, no, bro, get your money with me. Like, let's make this money together. But we ain't getting any of that. And we got a bunch of cornballs online, like defending all that, or like getting pissed at like someone like me if I express my distaste with that kind of behavior. Know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, bro. Yo, anything else you want to talk about, like boxing, life, or if you had anything to comment too, feel free.
I mean, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, I'm on your panel.
Were you watching that Redskin game at all? Or we don't watch football?
Well, which one?
No, the Redskins were playing the Seahawks.
Oh no, I don't really watch football like that. I mean, I watch the I keep up with the NBA. I haven't watched the NBA seriously since 2013 because I don't like how the game's been.
Yeah,
I keep up. I keep up with it.
I've been considering watching the Knicks again.
Yeah, I was about to talk about that actually just now. There, you mentioned the Knicks. I think what's his name?
I don't fuck with them like that though. Like, huh?
I think Randall is super overrated.
Nah, he is. I didn't want them to re-sign Randall, but I have because I watched the games through highlights. Like when you watch it on YouTube, like they'll show every point that's made. The only thing they don't show like the good defensive plays, but that's my Knicks watching right now. But I wasn't doing that like last year or the year before that because I thought they were a shitty team. I still think they're not that great of a team, but I've been watching them here and there, but not like that. I've been considering it because I'm thinking about taking a little bit of a step back from boxing, but they weren't built the way I like. Like I didn't like Kemba Walker, so I don't think I'm gonna invest too much time in the Knicks.
The Knicks, dude, we're always linked with somebody 3 or 4 years prior, and that's like, say like people were talking about Kemba Walker in like 2018 coming to the Knicks. We don't usually sign that guy until 3 or 4 years later when he's washed up.
After the fact.
I mean, what's it gonna take to bring any talent here, dude? Fucking. I mean, well, I think RJ Barrett is overrated too. Like he takes an hour to score. RJ Barrett
got a lot better. Like because I've shitted on RJ Barrett for a long time. I didn't like him in Duke either, but he has been getting better.
He's got to pick it up, man. I mean,
no, he's not like all that.
14 points a game in like 30 minutes. He's gotten worse. It just.
No, I think he looks better, bro. Like he's improving since he's been on the Knicks. But I'm still not like a lot of dudes in New York. Like when he'll throw up like 28, they'll dick ride him big time. Like I'm not like in that party. I would trade RJ Barrett.
Yeah, I would too.
If the opportunity presented itself.
We need when's our last good draft pick, man?
I'm sorry?
When was the last superstar draft pick? Like who was
not for
decent for the time?
I think that the NBA
Porzingis for that little while, but that was it.
But I think the NBA has a vendetta against the Knicks, like If you notice, like we'll do shitty and like we'll still pick like 5 or 7. But
No man's land.
yeah. So it's like, and that hurts me too because I'm like, yo, like I just want one dude that like is the hopeful. And like when Barrett came, I was like, yeah, it's not the dude.
It wasn't. I mean, who we got? Derrick Rose, wash. Kemba Walker, trash. Randall, okay, overrated. RJ Barrett.
Fournier is good.
Yeah, but we need superstars, dude. We need at least 2 superstars. We've just got a whole bunch of role players on this team. Kevin Knox is awful.
Athletic guys.
Kevin Knox is awful, dude. I don't know how he's still in the league.
He don't play though.
I
like Obi. I'm starting to like Obi though a little bit. Like
he's trash too. He's another waste of a draft pick.
Yeah,
garbage too.
Those are no man's land draft pick though. That's the problem. You're picking like between 5 and 17. I mean, like those dudes are usually trash.
Remember when we got all the way to the Eastern semis versus the Pacers in 2013? He had Carmelo, J.R. Smith, Tyson Chandler staring people down. We were good. I really thought we were going to get to the conference finals. I thought we were going to beat the Pacers. Little did I know we never came back to even anywhere close to that success. And that's why I stopped watching it. Because I was
that was like I was watching that year too.
We're competitive.
But
I mean, Melo was averaging close to 30, like 28 or something, and just it was actually good. I don't like Carmelo now. I think he's a bum. I think he's begged. Why would you beg? Like, dude, he went on like Sports Center 2 years ago crying about how the Rockets did him dirty, and he called and asked James Harden, did you know about this? If you knew that I was going to get cut, we can't be friends anymore. I'm just like, dude, you're like a 10-time, 11-time all-star. You want to go out.
But the league did shit on him, though. Like, I think they did blackball him a little bit. I don't know why.
Dude, he had millions in the bank at that point. I mean, it's just.
What? No, I know.
He had millions, you know.
Beyond rich. But I think they did, like, I think he was being blackballed to a degree.
But he was already on the decline.
No, he was in the decline, but like a pick and pop player like that, I mean, like, for league minimum at least, like nobody offered him. Like I thought, there was a little bit of blackball happening.
Yeah, for sure. But if people don't want me somewhere, and I've already done all of this stuff, I'm not going to beg. That's the last thing I do. And I think he begged. Like, to be honest, he's an e-beggar.
Well, the thing is, though, too, with him, and I'm not like overly defensive, but in his situation, I think like if he broke down to beg, it was because he probably thought like this is gonna last 2 years, like where I'm like where I can still play and like I'm not playing. But I was gonna tell you if you haven't peeped, like because I don't want to get too much in the Knicks because I'm not gonna watch the motherfuckers, bro. Like they gotta do something like real bananas, like and like maybe trade Kemba Walker and draft picks for somebody dope for me to start like, all right, like or like for them to be good, for me to start like committing to them. I'm watching like hockey and shit too, like or the New York hockey. So because they're good this year.
I used to live the Penguins. I used to live not even a 2-minute walk from the arena. Like
right, nice.
Yeah, I lived there in Pittsburgh.
Oh, I didn't know that, bro.
Yeah, I was living there I was at school. I was living there, and I always got busy. Like I would go out of my apartment to go back to campus on like a Saturday and Sunday, and I'd be like, what's all these people in the jerseys? I'm like, oh, they're going to the Penguins game, where the Steelers stadium was probably a 5-minute drive from where I was. I mean, I lived in downtown.
I'm actually going to a game over there in March, I think it is.
The Steelers?
No, Penguins. It's either Penguins or Blue Jackets.
Yeah, I can tell you the apartment building.
I'm sorry. I'm going to the Blue Jackets game, but I'm gonna stay in Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never been to Pittsburgh. No, but I was going to tell you.
It's not a great city.
It looks nice, though. I mean, like the scenic wise. I'm not going to parlay like that. I'm going with my son.
But you were going to tell me something? You said peep something?
Yes. Without getting my channel torched, bro, because I want to try to, like, mention like some things about that issue, but like without mentioning the issue because again, I don't want to get my channel torched. But what I have been noticing though, in spite of the fact that the Knicks this year started like with a lot of promise as far as like people's expectations, that if you watch the games, you'll notice that like the second rung of seats in the stadium, it's not that it's empty, but it's not all the way full. Even in the bottom rung, like the seats are not like all the way full. But um it's newsworthy to me because even when the Knicks were like ass juice, they always sold out that stadium years after year after year after year with them sucking for decades. That shit was always sold out. But this year, first year ever, like you're starting to see like some seats like available in the bottom rung and like a lot of spaces open in the next rung. And there's three rungs. There's not two. But on TV they only show the two unless they pan out really far.
You're saying that's because of a certain, you know, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's because of a certain requirement that people have to take.
Definitely.
Yeah. And people are refusing, and you know, things like that.
And that's because like if you don't know New York, like the Knicks always sell out because they're the only team that's like in the heart of Midtown.
How
like
much is the state percentage wise? Because our state came out, we're close to 70% coverage, internet coverage.
Yeah.
How much internet coverage in New York?
I think those are like fugazi though, like that you know what I'm saying, like. But I know like they're like the reason that they sell out like really easily is because they're like right in Midtown, like you know, like right near the Empire State Building. So a lot of these business types, they'll buy those tickets, you know, because they want to be like around the celebrities, and you got a lot of big money, you know, 1 mile radius all over the stadium. But it is funky, like, or funny how like this year, you know, when they really started getting like, you know, kooky with that, like that, all of a sudden you're starting to see those vacancies. That's a good. That's
how much are
cool.
tickets?
Oh, they're mad expensive. Cause I remember I bought.
How much for the nosebleeds?
I've never been in nosebleeds, like, but my friend got like I sat like 2 rows behind the visitors bench, but it was when they weren't that great and they were playing Orlando, who also wasn't that great. Like when Casino Mobley was on Orlando.
Oh,
but
wow.
yeah, but back then it was like a G pack for each ticket.
Wow, just for a nosebleed ticket.
No, this wasn't nosebleed. This was like 2 rows behind the visitors bench.
Oh, okay.
But the retail on them was like 700. But they used that, like my friend bought the tickets. But and I actually have a picture because right behind me one of the dudes from the Eagles was sitting there, like the drummer from the Eagles. But I think they like the retail on them were like 700, and it was a G pack, like I think my around the G pack for each one. But now it's probably way more expensive. Jay-Z was at that game too when I went, but they're mad expensive though. Oh, actually, look, I'll compare it with because the Rangers play hockey at the same arena, and Rangers games are mad expensive too. But for the price of a Rangers game, like in the second rung, like but almost on the top, like I got like a hotel, like a 3 or 4 star, I think it was. The tickets like right on the ice, and like the travel expenses, driving back and forth to Buffalo, it was like half the price of what it would cost to go to like a Rangers game. MSG is like Madison Square Garden is mad expensive.
Yeah, wow.
But it's really expensive because there's a lot of willing consumers for those tickets. Like, because like I said, that it's in a big time business area. But now you're seeing those numbers waning, at least visually. Some asshole's gonna say, "Oh, well, those tickets sell through StubHub, and people ain't going to the games." This, or like everybody like tries to provide coverage for whatever side of their argument they stand with anything nowadays. Like people will be blind to whatever they don't want to see for the sake of where they stand on like a certain argument with everything nowadays. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very corny times that we're living in.
Yeah, very much so.
But my friend, when I get on these panels with you, I have faith in the youth because I know you're our next generation, and voices like yours are going to lead us into better times from 2023.
Yeah, man, and we're in pretty good position. I'm pretty influenced right now from my parents. I definitely see I don't see myself working full time like in 5 or 6 years, dude. I just don't see it. I think I'm gonna retire.
Nah, even like and not even including like fiscally, but just sane people nowadays are like a rare commodity. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this. Not a single person in our house is working, and we make more money than our neighbors in a bigger house. Nobody in this house works. Nobody works. Nobody.
What do you mean though?
We don't. We don't work.
No, but but how do y'all make bread though?
I mean, it comes in through all sorts of ways. I make my money. My mom's salary. She's on leave. She's not working. My dad retired. He's making more money retired from that and benefits than he did while he was working.
Nice.
And the money that my mom, I'm going to move pretty soon. I'm graduate. I've been doing everything remote, so I'll have to work a full-time job pretty soon. I think I'll probably move out to like Seattle or something to work for a big company. But yeah, we're just circumstances have made it so that we don't work.
Nah, it is what there ain't no shame in that, bro. Like
no, I love it. I love it. None of us work. None of us work are making more money. Oh, I say it with a lot of pride. We're in a better position financially than I'd say 85% of people, 90% of people.
Nah, it's a good thing though. But
and none of us work.
I mean, but
don't you feel good? I mean, you're on leave, right, for your stuff. Don't you feel good not having to work?
I'm bored as fuck though too. Like I'm extremely bored.
I'd rather have that problem than to slave.
Yeah, and I was working like nights, so it wasn't like terrible. And like to get to my job, even though I live in Jersey, and I work in Manhattan, but to get to my job is like mad quick because you can see Manhattan from my house, like the skyline. But like being here, like a lot of times, like fucking, I'm like trying to find shit to do. Like I'm fucking like washing dishes at 5 a.m. or stupid shit like that.
And that's another thing. Like since this COVID stuff has happened, dude. Like,
careful, big fella.
No. And this is not about. This is a general trend that I saw in the news. 4.5 million Americans quit their job in August. People
I beat that
tired
too.
Of this rat race, man. People are tired of working 9, 10, 11, 12 hours just to survive. You know, the time people have had off, they really rethought what they wanted to do for themselves and where they saw themselves, you know. Like, I know you've been investing for a while, but people start getting into investing and things like that. They don't want to work anymore. There's no incentive to. Like 20 years ago, you know, you could be at working a factory job and you can, you know,
handle your business. The wife doesn't have to work, take care of the kids, blah, blah, blah. And you retire, you'll be okay. Now, even 2 incomes, you're living paycheck to paycheck for some people. And it's eye-opening, man. I was seeing a documentary on this as well, and I was like, man, people are waking up, dude. That's why I want to wake up. I didn't even start working professionally, right, as an engineer yet. But I've already got all the qualifications. Like, I'm going to have a master's. I'm 23 years old. I'm going to get my master's in 2 weeks. I'm going to do my FE exam, and sometime sometime in the spring, start working the summer, and then just start putting money away. I'd rather do something like trading or real estate or e-commerce or something else full time. I do not see myself working my way up the corporate ladder, suit and tie every day. I want to sit on my ass and just fucking, I don't know, play video games or work out or something. If I see idiots on TV and things like that do that, I'm just like, why am I slaving? You know what I mean? And I didn't even start slaving yet. I'm already thinking not the slave. It's a whole
definitely, bro.
ideology. You were telling me about it as well.
No, and like a lot of times people will tell you to do shit that they did, but what they did was probably wrong. Like most times, you know what I'm saying? Like, or they're telling you to do shit because they fucked up and they did it themselves. You know, and it's not like malicious, but like sometimes people don't know better. But there's
what's the
there
term?
are better ways to
we don't know what we don't know.
Yeah,
we did the best with what we could. That's another excuse.
yeah, but I don't think you're gonna fall into that pitfall. And you know, I'll do whatever I can so you don't too. As far as advice,
and I think a lot of people my age, I think, are literally like been thinking like this. We see what's coming, dude. Like, I see horror stories of how people are treated at their job, white collar jobs, even the politics, for 5-figure paydays. I mean, this is kind of like people on PBC prelims fighting for scraps, just in the workplace. Like, why am I going to kill myself for peanuts?
I think more people should see that, but I don't know if enough people
They don't. They think it's okay to slave for 12 hours a day and a 2% raise, which inflation knocks that out, right? So actually, you're taking a pay cut after the raise, and they've been brainwashed into thinking this is the way to work this white collar job or trade job, whatever they do, right? For hours upon hours, and they're on their little lunch break, their little coffee break. Workplace politics and cat fights. I don't want to live like that.
No, I think especially our people, like so-called minorities, like we really gotta protect ourselves. Like, even if like you're in a position to remain in the same position you're in, like in 2023, like, or like in the near future, would be okay. Like, because I think a lot of people like in the near future are gonna be thoroughly fucked, like fiscally.
Oh yeah, they won't have it. They will have nothing to fall back on. They're gonna think that their degrees to save them. And I'll be honest, like I'm very educated for my age, right? Not to toot my own horn, but at my age, I've got the same education as some of these fucking arrogant 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds. Fucking they say I have a master's. Well, I'm 20. I have a master's too, 20 something, but doesn't mean anything. But the thing is, like, for me, it's just a means to an end. Like, it's literally, you don't need it to do well, depending on what you want to do. I'm a big believer in Zoom school. I don't even believe school should be in person anymore. I think it's outdated. I don't like they would say I'm radical in how I think about schools. Like, they'd say I'm really liberal because I think school is outdated. I think like this public school is just a prison system, right? Imagine you've got principal, he's the warden, you can't have your phone in class. It's just like a slave thing. Like, what's going on? You're not even gonna learn this stuff anyway. Most of it has no purpose. They're just doing it because of
tradition, dude. I can go on a rabbit hole about this. I actually wrote a paper about this in my courses in college. I got a B on that. Comparing
No,
how
but
public
it is
school
true though,
is like a
because
prison.
no, and a lot of people will say that a lot of people are nuts or nuttier nowadays, which I agree with that sentiment. But then you're going to school or you're sending your kids to school to be taught by people that are probably nutty or that have just regular personalities that get pissed off, you know,
Yeah.
because of God knows what, and then they're gonna, you know, subject your kids to it. Because I mean, if I were a teacher, there'd be at least 3 or 4 days, which I would probably be like fucking not wanting to deal with people. And I'm a pretty reasonable, easygoing person, I
Right.
think. But you get these like Karens like that are in the school system nowadays teaching, you know, they're probably running shop on your kids right now. And you know, even with this like supposed like fake wokeness that a lot of these teachers or like people who are historically like liberals like teachers adopting nowadays, like they have like the ill rank, like they'll say that stuff outwardly, but in their heart of hearts, I mean, they probably hate your kids, and they probably
Oh
hate
yeah,
your kids.
they hate your kids. They
Yeah,
hate, and the
and they
schools are
probably hate your
racist
kids
anyway.
for the stuff that they're saying that they're so such big proponents of,
Yeah,
i.e., like, you know, your kids' skin colors. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but and they see your kids every day. They probably think like, you know, that your kids are goons and that your kids ain't gonna be shit.
yeah, the schools are racist anyway. Like
Hell's yeah, bro.
school is a school. School 80% is a waste of time. Like if you're not going to go to school and want to do like, you know, well, quote unquote, to go to some tech field or whatever, you know, if you don't go to like school by ninth grade and have a mission, there's really no point to continue, because you can't all of a sudden really, I mean, it might happen, but like there's so, if you're thinking on other stuff like passion wise, you might as well go for that. Like I don't believe in forcing people to having to be these white collar rats. I mean, that's just what it is. Why should we look up to people who wear a suit and tie and live paycheck to paycheck? They're not kicking it like that. And then other people who use their brains and think out of the system are doing very, very well for themselves. Why are those people shamed? But just because somebody has a piece of paper or a degree or whatever they're doing, and they work they're senior engineer, you know, at some sort of Fortune 500, right? Or they're working their way up to staff or whatever it is, or executive, and they're making 150,000, and they might have some stock options. Those are the guys we look forward to, but they live in areas where they're
cooking,
in
bro.
more debt. It's just a big rabbit hole, and they need to get they need to teach the skills that need to be taught, like financial literacy and then operations or trades or whatever it is, or just good decision making aren't being taught. We're being taught things that mean absolutely nothing for the kids. I mean, we're not going to use history. I mean, I listen to history stuff like documentaries, but that's on my own free time. I'm not ever going to use it on a test, or it's not going to be like, it's not going to be do or die situations for me. And at the end of the day, you know, the bachelor or the master's have become the new GED. Like, you need more education. In this day and age, you need more education to do less than what you did 30 years ago. And you just kind of look at it, it's like, what's the point of it all? It's just a garbage system.
No, but I think that's not by accident. And I think a lot of people think that we're in this like social experiment of like schooling how it is now, and that I mean, you can't debate that it's not working, because I mean, look at our youth. But not you either. I mean, like, you're an anomaly in this equation. But don't think that they purposely made the school system the way it is,
Shit.
and or that they didn't do it purposely.
And look at it. And then the thing is, the people in the system will defend it sometimes. Like, I've talked to people online, or, you know, friends of mine, you know, I told one guy, he's a bit older than me, has a couple of kids, and I'm like, I'm cool with Zoom. And what do these parents do? They start complaining and crying. Oh, well, Jimmy, he just can't learn online for some reason. He needs, what are the first things they say? He can't learn online. He needs attention. He needs a group environment and all of this stuff. He wasn't learning shit to begin with in school anyway. Being online isn't going to make a difference except for he will have more time to actually think about something better to do than school. And that's what they're afraid of. They're already off this. But the thing is, this Zoom stuff has started. There's no going back. You can't go from doing something easier to going back to do it harder again. It's just not going down. And I see more Zoom happening in the future. They're trying to push it away. They're trying to get people back in, and they're on this little slope. But it's going to go downhill. It's all going to be Zoom because somebody's going to make money out of Zoom. Like, big deal. Is going to be able to offset the overhead, get rid of all the dorms and bullshit and classes, and just change the system to online. Hopefully.
Yeah. Well, like, and
it's a freedom for me. It's a freedom of choice. When I see online school,
no, don't feel guilty one iota about doing school online, bro. Like, I mean, I wish I could have done every class I did online. Like, it's in college at least.
Yeah, I had to
high
fight
school.
just to do this semester. You saw. I sent you emails what I was getting, and I mean, there were threats, were they not? They were basically threatening me in bold and everything else, but I didn't back down, and I was gonna fight to do my last semester online because there was no point when I could take classes that are available remote to sit down and go in person, rent an apartment in a city I don't like. Yeah, food I don't like. Buses. There's no point for me to travel hundreds of miles away to be somewhere that I don't have to be. I can do it from the comfort of my own home. Finish this chapter of my life and move on. After I graduate, next year will have been 2 years since I've been on campus. I don't think I'll ever be back there again. And I'm okay with that.
Nah, but you're done with that, with this equation.
I'm done with this chapter of my life.
But I think that's something that we could commit time to, like in its own segment, as far as like the pros and cons as doing things with the Zoom or
everything's changed
from the home.
I was just talking to my mom the other day, 10 years ago. Like, you could go to fucking JCPenney or Macy's and you could shop. Shit's over with now. I mean, the Macy's, JCPenney's all shut down in my hometown. Our mall is about to crumble. Nobody even goes out. It's all become digital, dude. People are staying inside more than ever. And I think this issue that we had, it just was the catalyst. I think it was going that way anyway.
But you think you see, like, not counting the school experience, because ultimately it benefited you as far as issues you were concerned with. Mm-hmm. But besides that, though, do you see like more pros or more cons in like people doing things online more?
I think it's just the way of the world. I mean, people are going to complain about it. You're not being social, you can't go out, whatever. But
so hold on, let me, like, do you think the catalyst was
what just happened? This coverage.
No. I know it, but ultimately, like, you think that the powers that be wanted us in this kind of society, like where we do things more online, or
they may or may have not, but they'll adjust. If you know what I mean. They'll make the necessary adjustments.
I think differently, though. But I'd have to get on that in another show, because I do want to eventually cover like the metaverse and stuff like that.
Yeah, Facebook just changed to Meta.
Yeah.
He doesn't look human, that guy.
Yeah, I don't think so. He might not be a human.
I saw a meme that was like him sweating in Congress, and it was like, he looks like that guy who's been bit by a zombie but doesn't want to tell anybody. I gotta find it. I'll send it to you.
No, like, I don't know if you saw like where he was talking from his cribs, and there was like a bottle of you know how, like, you put those wall shelves with like little trinkets, but in like those shelves, it was like one little decorative like knickknack, and then like a bottle of like barbecue sauce. So they were
What?
saying like, why would he put that there? So people were saying it in the sense of like, as if a robot were trying to think and like design his house in things that would be
That might fit like the algorithm.
yeah, like something was askew. You know, like you get what I'm saying.
That's another
Like,
thing, dude. Not to keep you on here, but what you're talking about, robot. This algorithm stuff is AI and everything like that. It's definitely moving, man. It's definitely moving. I know firsthand from the courses I've taken. Right? So I'm in an energy storage course, which is only 4 years old. Right? It's pretty, I'd say, cutting edge stuff. Like all the theories we're talking about are 2 or 3 years old, or they're a year old. They're basically new. These aren't things that are like 100-year-old theories. You know, these are
yeah.
things that are happening right now, especially with this course really revolves around using silicon and lithium ion batteries and everything like that for cars or vehicles, whatever it is, the energy storage. And you know how that's been a big issue. When you see at the government level, they're talking about it, right? So that combined with autonomy, with AI. So I'm in another course with linear control, and we talk about like controlling vehicles. We have a project about PID controlling vehicles that I was working on, and you do different controllers. That thing is moving fast, and people talk about how that's gonna like outpace people. I definitely think so. The new jobs will be to service these machines. Will not actually do the work that these machines are doing. So, if your
I think in the
job is
best
to
case
drive,
scenario,
mm-hmm.
in a best case scenario, the new jobs will be servicing those machines.
Yeah, in the best case, yeah, that's a good point. In the best case, if not, get rid of these
But
jobs.
I see that as very scary though. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people like honestly when people would say AI, I thought it was like manual shit. Like
I
things
can
that
show you some stuff behind the scenes, right? If you're interested, I took an AI course, and I can show you. I can send you some stuff on like some basic algorithms that they use that use a lot of like metrics like mean or mode, or low level of things that build on and like other theories that might be like sifting and searching through things. And it's crazy how they numerically get to a certain number. Like have you ever heard of a deep fake? Probably
yeah.
heard of it. Yeah, that's all AI. Like, I mean, they've gotten to a point where they've made pictures digitally that look like a real person, completely from scratch. Completely from scratch.
No, that like when I initially thought of AI, like I probably like, just based on shit I saw of movies, always put it as to something that's happening kinetically, like, a robot flipping burgers or some shit. Or
That's already happening.
no, I think that's
Yeah.
the low level AI shit.
Yeah.
But or I thought it was like, Rotterdam, like the ports being run by like, like 3 or 4 people and like 100% like robots. But AI, like now, like what I'm seeing, like is happening, or like what they're using AI for, that's scary, scary shit. Like very scary. Like it,
Predator drone.
No, I mean it like the whole like no. As far as I think a lot of like how people are thinking now is influenced by like AI, like the whole bot shit, like in comments, like fucking and I don't even think like that it's something of trying to convince you of the major issues, like where you see these like bot comments and shit like that. I think that's like stuff that's happening in every issue.
Yeah, and it's got mainstream, right? Like that's the new insult. Even on gaming, or we see bullshit comments,
What do they say though?
calling
That like
people
accusing people of being bots?
a bot. Yeah. That's me, right? Like it's at the front now. There's a guy, I won't say who, I'll tell you behind the scenes, who I literally he gets on like everybody's he comments like fight. He'll make a comment about he thinks a certain fight should happen. He rarely ever is on topic, but he just put spam comments about what fight should happen or shouldn't. I told Watcher this behind the scenes. I said, I think dude's a bot.
To my mother, like Tyrone, and I made a video about this when I was living in Jersey City. And I was living in Jersey City for only like I don't know how long, I can't remember, but like 2015 era, like where I was saying a lot of the shit that you were seeing, like
now,
like AJ wise, were like bots, but and people were like saying like, oh well, no, it's because a lot of these UK, but and it's not just that. Like I don't think that they do it like to try to push a fighter. I think they get involved in every issue, like every fucking like single thought or argument that's out there. They insert themselves in everything. I think, and I don't even, and maybe that's not even by design. Like maybe that's just happening.
I think a significant percentage of some comments, or I know at least 50 or 60% of people's Instagram followers are just bots. They're manufactured accounts. They're not even real accounts.
But what if I always think that what if that's something that they put out there and that they can't even corral now? That it's, you mean control? There, yeah.
What's that movie? That robots take. I'm trying to think. What's the name of that movie? There's it seems generic. Like there's plenty of movies where robots take over the earth. There's something I was really thinking about.
Terminator?
Nah, something else. Terminator was funny though. Like you turn around and you thought it was a person, it was a deep fake, and then all of a sudden it becomes mechanical and throws you across the fucking warehouse. I mean, that stuff is do you know Boston Dynamics?
Of course.
You heard of that company? Yeah. Have you seen some of the stuff they're doing? They show us some of the
shit, bro.
They showed us some of the stuff.
China, like
feedback controls is really big on that, dude.
I think movement, China made a bunch of the of like the two robots. They had one that looked like human and like one that looked like a dog. They said like China bit off them and made a bunch of the dog ones like their tech company.
I think cloning is the real deal too, in my opinion.
Like human clone?
I think that's being worked on or something.
That's a done deal. I think that's a done deal. Like
there's no way. I mean, you made Dolly the sheep in '99. It's almost 21 years. You're saying there's no progress? There had to have been enough. There had to.
Yeah, that's been done. I think like for a minute, even before Dolly, like they probably had motherfuckers running around that were synthetic
beings.
It's a crazy world. I mean, like, and like it's good, like for like not typical people to be talking about, or the people that you expect to talk about those subjects, to delve into those subjects, like us, basically, like because we could see it from kind of like both ends, or like are people like based on backgrounds, like so-called minorities, like we're very steeped in logic, and like it's like almost like a new set of eyes looking at that, as far as like what you hear online. Like,
yeah, dude, I don't even go out. Like I barely even I have a gym in my basement. Like I just go out to get groceries or maybe food from time to time, but I don't go out to do anything fun. Like my fun is just sitting down, doing homework, or being on the internet or whatever. So it's a lot of downtime. You can learn a lot of stuff. Just it's surprising how much you can do when you're actually given the time for it, learning wise.
No, I've always been interested in that, like all the kind of like outer limits type stuff, like. But now a lot of that stuff that seemed like batshit crazy, 2 years ago, it's like fucking, it's at your doorstep today. Mm-hmm. Yo, but I'm gonna take off, bro. Like, let the people know again where we can find you, Tyrone, and thank you for coming on again, bro.
Yeah, man, no problem. TS Boxing on YouTube, and yeah, man, that's where you guys can find me. If you guys want to talk about, maybe I should do that. Talk about stuff like this. Like,
Word
I
up.
got a friend who he's got videos on like structural mechanics, just like basic civil engineering type stuff. So maybe I can do, I don't know, videos on control and things I've learned in my courses, which are becoming very big. Like we were talking about the Boston Dynamics stuff, dude. Have you seen those motherfuckers jumping around like those
Nah,
robots?
bananas.
Like, I don't know.
That's
how much
what we're
they
seeing
put in.
too, man. Like what we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, we haven't seen. And there are some,
Yeah.
dude. There's some top of the line like control methods now. I mean, we just finished a unit on adaptive control, and that's 5, 6, 7 years old. It's brand new stuff that they've implemented, and it's crazy to see some of these theories.
Nah, but we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna I'm trying to make a commitment to like coming on to YouTube a lot more. But like and I think like if we keep hacking at it too, like that
Hopefully we can
develop
talk
our
about
brand for it.
crypto too. Crypto stuff.
Yeah, down the line. I mean, and I do want to speak to the audiences that would probably like listen now, like people that are like us. But yeah, I want to dedicate like a lot of time where I just talk about like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But thank you for coming on nevertheless though, man. Like, and for all you guys that are listening now, or you guys should comment more, man. I don't know why people don't comment more on these like things. But thank you for coming through anyway. Like, even if you don't comment, like much love for even spending this time with me and Tyrone this evening. But if you listen to it after the fact, much love too, and no beef with anybody. My views are my views, and it has nothing to do with anybody or against anybody. Like it is what it is. Like my views are mine. But thank you for coming on, and thank you for stepping into the Foul Playland with me. As always, I'm a Foul Player. With that, I'm out. Peace.
Yes, sir. Peace out.